Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kalila or Callie, and it is 2022 when you're watching this because this is my first video of 2022. It is currently Christmas time right now, Christmas Day. Let me show you so you can really see. I don't know why I always show you guys. Well, I know why. I just feel like it's more, not believable, but you guys can feel the vibes more if you know, like, oh, it is that exact day. But yeah, it is Christmas Day afternoon time right now, and I'm currently wearing some Christmas pajamas. I am matching with my sisters and my mom. I'm wearing my socks that my friend Alex sent me all the way from Sweden. And it's just, they're just such great vibes right now. I just finished taking some Christmas pictures with my family, and it's just fun. But I really wanted to go through everything that I have knitted and crocheted, mainly crocheted, because I just started knitting a few months ago. So most of these things are crochet pieces that I have done. I have a mountain of sweaters right here, some amigurumi plushies, some miscellaneous items, and I can't believe I did all of this year. I mean, I can, but you know, when you don't really think about what you've done, you don't think about the amount that you've done. I wrote out a whole list on my phone, so that's what I'll be referencing this video. And I wrote it down. It was like 40 plus things, 40 that I could remember, and then these aren't even on the list, so probably 50 plus items. And I was like, oh, okay, wow, that's a lot, but you know, not that much. And I started pulling them out from everywhere. I'm like, jeez, this is a lot. Yeah, and some things I don't have pictures for because I literally can't find them or I threw them away, and so I'll show pictures of them. I hope I said some items instead of pictures. But yeah, I'll show pictures for the items that I don't have in my hand because I take pictures of everything. But before I start, people always ask me like, why don't you wear your crochet sweaters? Or why don't you wear the sweaters that you make? Blah, 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 blah. And the thing is, I never made these sweaters with the intention to wear them. Like, I made them because I wanted to learn how to make sweaters. I wanted to know the ins and outs, the mechanics and everything. So these were literally just test subjects that I created. So I literally just made them, and even though they're sweaters, I never thought like, oh, I want to make this, I'm gonna wear this out here or out to there. Like, I never thought about wearing them. And also a lot of them, 80% of them are cotton, and I do not care to wear cotton because it just stretches so much. And also a lot of my stuff is made from acrylic, and I don't really care for how acrylic feels on my skin now that I have found wool. Oh, but those are some of the reasons. And now that I knit, I started knitting with the intention of making pieces that I want to wear. So that's why you'll see me wear my knitted sweaters rather than my crochet sweaters, because I didn't make my crochet sweaters for me to wear. I made it to experiment with. And knitting, I'm making these items so that I can wear them. So I hope that makes sense. Anyway, last year, 2021, last year, it's so weird because it's still 2021 right now for me, but for you guys it's 2022. Last year was the year that I decided to start making clothing. So I was like, I want to make sweaters for one. Two, I just wanted to make things that were so creative and outlandish, almost like pictures inside of sweaters and everything. And I just wanted to do a whole bunch of experimentation. I was done with amigurumi. I was not happy making amigurumi, but that was like the only thing I knew how to crochet besides blankets and hats and all of that. And I didn't care to make that over and over since I didn't wear it often, and you can't wear amigurumi. So I did not want to continue making it. It was not making me happy. The things I wanted to make the most were clothes, but I thought it was too hard just from looking at it. So then 2021 was the year I'm like, okay, time to actually learn. Now I'm gonna go through my list of things that I have. Oh gosh, and just talk about them a little bit. This is gonna be probably a very long video. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like an hour long. So sit back, relax, grab your tea, grab your coffee, grab your juice, grab your food, grab your knitting and your crochet stuff, and let's get cracking. I'm gonna go I'm going to try to mostly go in chronological order, in the order that I created these, so from January until December. The first thing I made in 2021 was this giant Pig Plushie. Now this plushie is 7 pounds and made with some fuzzy yarn, some thick yarn that I found at Walmart, I think. And don't ask me why I thought this was going to turn out smaller when the yarn was literally ginormous, okay? I almost had to use my hands to crochet this. It doesn't have a tail or legs because I ran out of yarn. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, honestly, but I did it, and it now sits in the laundry room. Ooh. When I move, I will put this somewhere as like a nice sitting thing. You can lay on it, sit on it. But the other one that I made was this. I don't remember if I made this one first and then that one, or that one first and then this one, but they were made like within a day of each other. And this is what I wanted to make. See, it has a little tail, it has legs and everything. This is what I was trying to make, and I ended up making this ginormous thing, but it's so cute, so nice. And these were, I think these were the only amigurumis that I really made. I think I made maybe 1 or 2 dolls for TikTok, and then I stopped because I did not want to make it anymore, and I was done with amigurumi, so I was just like, no thank you. And the next thing that I made was this modern 1920s bucket hat. Do I have a picture for that? If I have a picture for these things, I will show it somewhere around here so you guys can see. But it was just a tutorial that I made because I wanted to, I didn't really see bucket hat tutorials that I liked much because I feel like they didn't explain how to get measurements and stuff. I don't know about now. I haven't looked at tutorials in a while, so there could be many great ones out now, but before I just didn't see any that really clicked with me, so I just made my own and I was like, it works. The next thing I made was my first sweater of the year, and it is my Avatar Aang jumper. This is made with impeccable yarn. Impeccable acrylic yarn. As you'll see that most of my sweaters are made from acrylic or 24/7 cotton by Lion Brand. But this is the sweater. It is an oversized jumper and it is double crocheted, and I think this was the first time I actually started using stitch fiddle because I was like, oh my gosh, I want to make like a face on it, and I was changing colors and everything. This wasn't the first time I changed colors because I did for the first Weasley sweater that I did, or Christmas sweater, and this was the second time I did tapestry crochet. No, it was the third time I did tapestry crochet because I did tapestry crochet for this tapestry right there of Corpse, and this is the first time doing like a face in a jumper, and it was so nice. Like, I really enjoyed doing that. Now let me see where I can put these. I guess I could just put it right here. The next thing I made after that was this crochet backpack purse. If I have a picture, I don't know why I made that. I think I was just experimenting with different things, and January time I was really just trying to find what I really like to make because I was in some limbo time where I wasn't sure, and I just wanted to learn this and learn that and learn that and learn this. I wanted to learn everything so that I could pick and choose which one I wanted to apply to my sweater and clothing making journey, because I feel like you can learn so many things from each kind of crafting, like whether you're making blankets or whether you're making amigurumi, you can take some techniques from there, apply it in clothing, and that's what I wanted to do. Now the next thing I created was this candy striped sweater. It is made with 24/7 cotton. It has gotten longer throughout the year because cotton just stretches like crazy. This is a dress now. It used to be, this is my waistline. It used to be right here, just below my waistline. Now it's right here. This is my knee. It's right here, just some inches before my knee. And it hasn't even been a year that I have made this yet. So if you're gonna make a sweater with cotton, I don't know what to tell you because I don't plan to make another sweater with cotton again. So I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe a more organic cotton would hold up better and not stretch this much. But I don't know if it's just with mercerized cotton or if it's with like all kinds of cotton. But this was a very, very nice sweater. This was my first time really experimenting with trying different techniques in sweaters, especially like with the collar, the way the collar is, and the way I changed up the colors. And it was just such a great experience. I really, really loved this sweater, and you guys did too. Those of you who were around back then, you guys really enjoyed it, and I made a pattern for it. It is still available on my shop, so if you want to grab yourself a copy of this, you will see it there. The next sweater that I made was this one, also made with 100% mercerized cotton. It's a 24/7 cotton by Lion Brand. This person you see on here is D'Angelo Wallace. He's a commentary YouTuber, and I love his videos. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I was like binging his videos back then, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to make a sweater and put his face on it because I drew this out myself. Like, this isn't like a picture that was put into Stitch Fiddle. I literally drew his face out. I erased it so many times because I kept messing it up. It wasn't looking like a face. And I decided on this, and it looks really, really cool. Of course, this is now a dress on me as well. It's no longer a sweater because it goes almost to my knees. And like I said, see, like sweaters like this, I was just experimenting. I just wanted to have fun with different techniques, and I didn't plan to wear this out in public. Like, I'm not gonna go around and wear D'Angelo's face on me. Like, that's not gonna happen. But it's so cool to have. It's such a nice creation. I also did stripes at the bottom of it, like this, and at the bottom of the sleeves. So that was me going into some detailing. And this kind of color, this slip stitch kind of color, was literally my favorite thing to do ever. Why did I slip stitch it? I don't know. Slip stitching is the worst thing for ribbing, and ribbing is not my favorite, but I still did it anyway. The next jumper that I did was this Valentine's Day jumper, another sweater that I will not be walking around in. But this one is more, it makes more sense because it's not a person's face, it's a heart. And I drew this out. It took me so many tries because I tried to get the arrow as straight as possible. And because the sweater is like folding, it doesn't really go like straight through. But it's okay because it still looks cool. I love the highlight detailing. I put little hearts all around, like there, and then I put the blood dripping down because like pierce the heart, you know, so blood coming out. This again is also a dress. Also a dress on me because it's almost hitting my knee. These were all much smaller than before. But yeah, if I made all of these similarly, like pattern wise. The next sweater that I made, I don't know what the front or the back is. I think this is the front, but it is this sweater. This is the biggest sweater ever. Okay, back then I did not know much about yarn. I didn't think about the sizing changes that will happen if you use like a thicker yarn. Well, I knew for like really, really thick yarns, but this is a worsted weight yarn, and so is the mercerized cotton. But the mercerized cotton is still thinner, even though it's still worsted weight, but it is a thinner type of yarn than this acrylic is. What acrylic is this? Is this Impeccable? This is either Impeccable or Red Heart. I typically only use those 2 brands, but I had a lot of scrap yarn and I was trying to stay up for 24 hours for the first time. And so I was like, let me just use one of my patterns and make, there's yarn on my lip. I was like, let me just get one of my patterns and just make this sweater doing that. Follow it step by step, stitch count by stitch count. And it turned out so big. Like, this is the biggest sweater I probably own, and Kahila likes to wear it. The only time I've worn this sweater was literally in the video that I made this sweater in when I stayed up for 24 hours. So other than that, I haven't worn it. Kahila has worn it. She likes wearing every single thing that we create. The next thing I created were some crochet headbands. They were so freaking cute. I love them. I do have a pattern for them. You can find them on my website, but I cut them up. There were headbands, like these hard headbands, and I crocheted a sleeve to go over it. And I cut them up and just kept the headband because I just didn't see myself wearing them anymore, and I wanted to keep the headbands, but just not the crochet part of it. So that's why I cut it up. And it's now in the trash. And another thing that I created was this basic amigurumi doll. I did it because people wanted to know how to make it, so I just did a tutorial on how I made mine, and that was it. It wasn't to like get the spark back into making amigurumi dolls. Absolutely not. I feel no spark to do that ever again, and I don't know, maybe I'll do it as like a challenge with my sisters on our other channel together, but other than that, I'm not interested at all. And I think that's fine. You know, we grow and we find things that actually make us happy. And I feel like doing amigurumi was a step into me finding my love for making sweaters and making clothing. So I do not regret that part of my life. Another yarn is on my lip. Like, I don't regret doing it. I don't regret learning it because, hey, it prepared me for all of what I'm doing right now, and I'm so grateful for that, but I'm just no longer interested in that at all. The next thing I made was this crochet cardigan. Now, this was my first time using a superwash yarn. I didn't realize what it was. I'm pretty sure it was a superwash merino wool. Is it? Hold on, I gotta look this up. Oh my gosh, it was superwash merino. What? I did not know. It's extra fine merino wool. 100% superwash merino wool. What the heck? Okay, so this is the first time I ever used wool, and I didn't realize. This was a DK weight, or a 3. It's number 3 DK. A DK weight yarn, and I hated how this yarn felt. Absolutely despised it. The cardigan, oh my gosh, the cardigan is so nice. Like, it came out so perfectly. Like, look at this. This is nice. Ooh, ooh. Okay, this will be something that I wear. Okay, look at this. Chill out, Kalila, you made this? This is my first cardigan, and I was not happy with the yarn. Like, I think in that video, I did express my dislike for this yarn because it was so spongy, it was so soft, and I realized that is how commercial superwash yarn feels, and that, ugh, I hate that feeling. Absolutely not. The yarn that I used for my anchor sweater, which I finished a few days ago, it feels just like this. And so I realized it's just the commercial superwash yarns, because hand-dyed yarn, hand-dyed superwash yarn still feels like rough like wool, but it is soft. This one, it has no roughness, no wool-like feeling. It just feels like sponginess, and I don't like that at all. But it is so soft. It's very fine, and it made such a nice drapey cardigan, especially for crochet, because you know, crochet can be stiff. But this is so drapey, so nice. I didn't block it or anything. I didn't even know what blocking was back then, okay? But this is the yarn that I use for it. Lion Brand Superwash Merino Wool. And I think if I were to use it again, I would knit it. But I'm not interested in using any commercial superwash yarns again. I just don't like that feeling. I lied. I'll use Drops superwash yarns, but I'll pair it with like Mohair or something so I can get that toothy feel. The next thing I created was this skirt here, this tennis skirt. I was seeing so many pictures. You can tell summer was approaching, yeah? I was seeing so many tennis skirts and styles and clothing, not clothing brands, but you know, the people who like to style stuff. What are they called? Fashion people, I guess, whatever. They were wearing all the tennis skirts and rocking this. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to find it. No one had a pattern that I could find that looked like this, like with the pleats and stuff. I wanted the pleats, you know? I needed that tennis skirt effect. I couldn't find that. So I experimented and made my own, and it turned out really good. And I made a tutorial on it. I have a whole outfit on it as well. The next thing I made was this long sleeve sweater shirt type thing. I wanted like a plain shirt, and I wanted to see how it would be. This is, again, besides these two and the Avatar one, every single thing has been with 24/7 cotton by Lion Brand. This was made 24/7 cotton by Lion Brand. This 24/7 cotton by Lion Brand. I like this shirt because it was, even though it was true to size, it was my first time making something true to size, and I was like, oh, maybe I don't dislike true to size stuff. But it was really nice. I feel like it could go with anything, but I wouldn't wear it again because it's cotton, and cotton is too breezy, too airy. I need to feel some warmth, and that's not gonna give it to you. Maybe in the summertime, but also I wear sweatshirts in the summertime, so I still wouldn't want to wear this one. The next thing I made were pants. Pants! I was experimenting again. I experiment with everything, okay? This is what my whole channel of me crocheting was, just an experimentation until I found what I really wanted to make and was really interested in making. But for that time, I was just like, okay, I don't see this, I want to make this. I don't see people making this, I want to make that, because I saw people asking for certain things, and I was asking for certain things, and I couldn't find them. Like pants, I couldn't find a tutorial that made pants in a way that really made sense to me. And even the ones that it's like, okay, I kind of get it, they were still scarce. Like I couldn't find anything. So I was just like, okay, let me experiment, let me measure out like the stuff that I wear, see how it is. It's kind of like bell-bottomy because I wanted wide pants, and it turned out so nice. It was perfect. It fit me perfectly. Again, 24/7 cotton by Lion Brand. The worst thing to make pants with, because these bad boys stretch like crazy. I'm pretty sure they're gonna drag on the ground even now. Well, now that it has stretched quite a bit, and it was already long to begin with. So the next thing I made after that was the tutorial. Wait, was it the tutorial? No. The next thing I made after that was Disguised Toast. If you don't know who Disguised Toast is, then are you even living on this earth? Okay, he is a streamer. He used to stream on Twitch, and then he moved to Facebook, and then he moved back to Twitch recently. I found him during the Among Us craze, and I have continued watching him. I would always pull up his Facebook and just boom, watch his streams there. Yes, I know, Facebook, right? But hello, when you like a content creator, you're gonna watch wherever they are. Like when Ninja moved to, what was that thing called? Starts with an M, I think. Anyway, Mixer, there we go. When he moved to Mixer, you best believe I had Mixer pulled up. But I watch Toast, and back before he did Among Us and stuff, he had merch, and it was like Toast. a toast plushie. And he didn't have it anymore. I think he's gonna come out with some soon, so we can do some comparisons. But he didn't have any, so I made one of my own. It is very big. The actual plushie, merch plushie, is not this big. I didn't account for stretch with this acrylic yarn, but hey, I made it look similar. It is like a 3D type of thing. So this is a legit ginormous pillow with many bags of stuffing in it. The hat I sewed on, and I put some stuffing inside before I sewed it on. But I'm proud of this because I totally eyeballed it and it came out exactly how I wanted it. Let's pull this way. Yeah. And I love it so much. The next thing I made after that was the tutorial for these pants. I made a second pair of pants. These were so big. Okay, they weren't huge, but the crotch I made too low. I made it so low. It looks like I'm wearing a onesie that got cut off in the middle. And this one is also made with 24/7 cotton by Lion brand. And these have stretched pretty far as well. I have no clue what I'll do with these because I'm not gonna wear them. I'm not gonna wear them ever, besides like that cardigan that I showed you. And let me know what I should do with them. Should I just keep them? Should I sell them? Should I give it away somewhere to a place? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I made those pants and I don't plan to ever make pants again, really. Someone asked me if I will knit pants and I don't know because pants will take a long time and I'm not interested in wearing handmade pants. I'm mainly interested in wearing handmade tops right now. And when I knit stuff, I want it to be stuff that I know for sure I will wear, and I'm not gonna wear pants, honestly. I mean, okay, I will wear the pants if I make them, but I'm not interested in the pants, so I don't want to make them, you know? The next thing I made, though, was this outfit for Pride Month. And I made a skirt, totally eyeballed it. And I was like, I want it to be flowy and nice. And like, look at this. I made it using the original colors of the original Pride flag. And so there was like pink and turquoise, and I think those were the only two. I made this using the original colors of the original Pride flag, or like the first Pride flag or whatever. And I made a bandeau type top. I made it with buttons, so I have buttonholes. This was the first time I did anything with like buttons, and it's just so cute. Of course, I made it with 24/7 cotton by Lion brand. And I also used this Yarn Bee fuzzy yarn at the top and at the bottom. And on the skirt, I used it at the bottom of it. And I really like this outfit. I wouldn't wear it again because it's going to be too big. Like the top, it'll be too big. Even though I buttoned it, the cotton just stretched so much, it's not gonna fit. And I don't have the real estate up here to hold the top up. So that was a good outfit though. The next thing I created was this top here. Now this is my crochet version of the Marseille sweater by Petite Knit. By Petite Knit? Weren't you crocheting? Yes, I was only crocheting. I had no thoughts to knit or anything, but I loved seeing Petite Knit stuff, even as a crocheter. I just loved it because I loved the way knit clothes look in general. So I followed her because Tiffany talked about her all the time. Tiffany Lou, Typical Bliss. And I was like, oh my gosh, her stuff is nice. So I followed Petite Knit and I was just like in love with her stuff. And I saw the Marseille sweater and I was like, I really love her sweater. So I made a crochet version of it. I do not really like this. I like the way I made it. I don't like the sizing of it. It's too close to skin. And I'm not someone who likes things with negative ease. But that was a fun project to do for sure. The next thing I made using, guess what? 24/7 cotton by Lion brand was the tutorial for this tennis skirt. I made a whole tutorial on it and I made it in this green color and it's just very nice. I think I like this one more because I made it smaller, and which means it will fit me longer than the other one did, like longer time before it stretches out, because you know the cotton's just gonna drag and it doesn't grow, it just stretches over time because maybe the weight of it. Cotton is very heavy when worked up, at least mercerized cotton is, and I think that's what is happening to all of my cotton items. They're just, the weight is just like dragging it down even more. The next thing I made was this crochet sweater vest tank top. I wouldn't call it a sweater vest, but it was like a sweater vest. It was this tank top vest number. I don't know where it is. I don't know where I put it. I literally should have it and I have no clue where it is. It was just this random sweater vest that I made because I just wanted to make something different than what I was making. And I'll insert a picture though so that you guys can see it. I really liked it. It was so nice. So summery. Now, the next thing I made is my favorite project ever. My favorite project, or I'll say one of my favorite projects that I have made crochet wise. And it is my vanilla mohair sweater. This sweater is made with 2 strands. Oh gosh, she is already getting in my throat. Hold on. Let me get some water. Woo. This sweater is made using 2 strands of Drops Kid Silk mohair. It has a folded collar, so I folded it and sewed the neckline like that. And it is so light, so lightweight. Like, this is so heavy and it's a skirt. And this is lighter than that. And it is a sweater, a full sweater. Like, it's very long as well. Like, it goes to like the top of my thigh. So it is very oversized. I used, ooh, how much did I use? Like 16 balls of mohair, I think. I was double stranding it, so I needed that amount. And oh my gosh, this is just so nice. It is prickly. I haven't blocked it, so I don't know if the prickle factor will go down with blocking, but I noticed Drops mohair is it's prickly, toothy when it is by itself. But I have no problem with that. I like feeling it on my skin, and I just love the construction of this. It is similar to my other sweaters, but this was my first time that I was aware of. I was not aware that I was using superwash merino wool with my cardigan because I was not a person who looked at the fiber content. I just looked at the yarn. I was just like, oh, that yarn looks good, let me get it. So this was the first time I actually took my time out to understand the different yarns and how they work and say, oh yeah, I want to pick that. So I picked the mohair. It was my first time using mohair, first time getting into like the woolly natural fibers besides cotton. And I think this is what clicked in my head and started my obsession with wool and alpaca and mohair and silk and all of these other natural fibers that I can feel on my skin. And the reason is because of Tiffany. Tiffany talked about mohair all the time, and I was like, I wonder if I can crochet with that, because at the time I only saw knitters using these things, because I only watched knitters on YouTube really, besides like Erin and Anna. Hey. And so I was mainly watching knitters, and they were always talking about like merino wool and mohair and baby alpaca and all of this, and I was just like, wait, what are these fibers? These exist? I didn't know that other fibers existed like this. I just thought it was just like acrylic and cotton. I thought those were like the only 2 fibers. So watching knitters really opened up my eyes, because whenever I watched crocheters on YouTube, all I saw in tutorials, and crocheters don't really do like vloggy type videos or podcasty videos that I've seen like often that are updated. I'm not talking about ones from like 10 years ago or 5 years ago, like consistent consistent vlogging, consistent podcasting. I mainly just saw tutorials, and a lot of them, if not all of them, used acrylic yarn. So I was just seeing acrylic yarn, acrylic blends, this acrylic cotton, this cotton, that milk cotton. So I thought those were the only two fibers that existed, okay? And since I wasn't into like shawls and all of that, I didn't even see people who use hand-dyed wool to make their shawls, or any wool really to make their shawls, because I know that that is a popular thing to do even with crocheting. So I didn't know at all. And watching all of the knitters that I watched Inga. Inga was the main person I watched. I mainly watched Inga and Tiffany, and they always talked about mohair this and wool this, merino this, and this. And I was like, what is this? And I'm like, I wonder if you can do it with crocheting, because I always referred it to like, it's knitting yarn, because I've only seen knitters use this yarn. I haven't seen anyone crocheting stuff with the wool or with mohair. And so I was like, let me try it. And I'm like, oh, I used a 2.5 millimeter, 2.5, 2.75 in between that for this sweater. Yes, but it was so worth it. My hand did not hurt. No, my hand only hurts when I use bigger hooks, but they feel fine when I use like 2.5 millimeter hooks, weirdly enough. All of that to say, that started my journey of loving wool, learning about wool. And then after that, my sisters and I sold all of our acrylic yarns, all of our cotton yarns, and started fresh. We started fresh. That's why you guys saw us do a lot of yarn hauls and all of this, because we needed to replenish our stash. And this time we decided to replenish it with wool only. We decided not to use acrylic anymore. Cotton was just something, I feel like cotton is seasonal. You don't really want to use that year round. It's mainly for like summertime, and that's it. So I didn't even want to touch cotton. I didn't want to see cotton. I didn't want to see acrylic, touch acrylic, none of that for a while, okay? That I totally changed up what I was using. And at this time, I was still crocheting. Knitting was not on my mind. I literally said until August, even in August, when I started learning how to knit. Until the day I started knitting, I was like, I'm not gonna knit. Why would I knit? I'm not trying to learn all these complicated terms and learn all these things. Like, no, I'm gonna crochet. If I want something to look knit, if I want to make something that a knitter has created, I will just crochet a version of it so that I can get that nice feeling of, oh wow, you could crochet that? So that's the route I was taking. I was not thinking about knitting at all until the day my sister was like, I'm gonna learn to knit. And literally an hour before that, I was like, I don't want to learn how to knit. And then she was like, I want to learn how to knit. And once Malika said she wanted to knit too, and Malika does not care to do anything, I was just like, okay, fine. I'll knit too. Why not? Because y'all two are not going to sit here and learn how to knit and do something that y'all can relate to, and I'm going to sit here doing something else. No, we're all going to knit together. But that is how I came to my wool love. That was so long. I feel like I'm doing a podcast right now, and now my battery's about to die. So let me change that before I move on to the next object that I created this year. Or last year, because this is going up next year. That's so weird. Okay, I am halfway through this, just halfway through. But the next thing that I created was this Kima Cardi by Tony from TL Yarn Crafts. She hosted a cal in August? Was it August? I believe it was August. She hosted a cal, and it was to make like a hat or a scarf. There were different things you could have made, like a hat, a scarf. You could have made this cardigan, something else, and I decided to make this cardigan because I loved the stitch. It looks so nice, so very cool. I loved the texture. I loved how oversized it was. I didn't realize it was that oversized. Like, each size came with a lot of positive ease. I didn't look at that. I was just like, oh, I want to make that, and I want to make it big. And I decided to do the XL/2XL size. And this thing was very big on me. This is how big it is. It can fit me like a blanket, which is fine because I really like having very, very oversized things, like oversized to me, because XL and 2XL is not my size. So anything bigger than a small or medium would be bigger than me. So therefore it is oversized for me. And it looks like this in the back. It goes down to almost my knee. I believe it hits my knees. That's how long this is. And I am so happy I made it this long, because when I made this, I was in Las Vegas, and the hotels over there, it was summertime, okay? August in Las Vegas, which means heat, okay? It was like 110 degrees almost every day when we were there. Okay, it was like 105 to 110 degrees. That is hot, okay? I don't know what that is in Celsius. Let me see. Okay, it was like 40 to 43 degrees Celsius every day in Las Vegas, okay? So the hotel we were staying at blasted the air conditioning? The AC, whatever. And it was freezing. It was super hot outside, super cold inside. And when I tell you I slept with this every night, it was so warm. The yarn I use is a wool acrylic blend it's by Line brand, but it's a collaboration between them and Two of Wands. And that yarn is so nice. So very nice, so warm. And even though I didn't care to work with acrylic yarn, it had wool in it, but I really wanted to support Tony because I was like, this is gonna be such a fun experience. She makes such cute things. I want to try out her patterns. And it was the first time I read a pattern that someone crocheted, because up until then I had not read any crochet patterns. I just made up all of my own. So it was weird reading someone's pattern. Like, I've read patterns before for sure, but I hadn't followed a pattern before. Everything that I created, I just made up as I went. So it was nice and refreshing to be able to just read a pattern and get the stuff done instead of having to think about the measurements, think about the stitch count, think about this, think about that. And I liked that, and it was fun. It was so awesome supporting her. It was fun seeing everyone else's creation as well. And you also got a pin at the end when you completed the cowl. Let me show you. I put it on. Ooh. I put it on one of my project bags. Okay, this project bag. And this is the pin, the enamel pin you received when you completed it. You bought it. You could have the option to buy this enamel pin once you completed it, and it says established 2021 Crochet Academy, because that was what her thing was called. Crochet. It was Crochet Academy, teaching people how to crochet. And you can see the two crochet hooks and a ball of yarn. Like, that is so freaking cute. I have a bunch of enamel pins on here, but that was the first enamel pin that I had gotten. And that sparked my enamel pin obsession. And now I have a bunch of enamel pins on here. I plan to get a lot more and put them on all of my bags. The next thing that I made was my rusty high neck sweater. Now this sweater, hello, this sweater is in competition for my favorite sweater with the mohair sweater that I made, my vanilla mohair sweater. This one might be number one, okay? My number one crochet sweater. It is so very oversized, and I made it a high neck, which I totally love. And I made this using Knitting for Olive Merino, which is a fingering weight yarn, paired with Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair. Powerful combination, okay? Powerful combination, okay? Because this thing right here is so soft. It is not blocked at all because I didn't think about blocking. I knew about blocking at that point. This is like, what, August, September time? Maybe September? Maybe September time. No. Yeah? Was it August time? Okay, it had to be like July, August. No, because if I made this, and then I made this, did I make a video on this? I don't know. I think I did. Anyway, this is probably an August project. And I made it using a 2.75 millimeter hook, and it is so soft, not blocked at all, and it is still next to skin soft for me. I don't feel the toothiness at all. I can feel it. I can feel the sweater on my skin, but I don't feel any discomfort or any prickliness or itchiness, and I love it so much. And it's crocheted, like it looks so freaking good. You can barely see the holes and everything, but probably because I used such a tiny hook that I feel most people wouldn't even want to pick up. But it was so nice to crochet this. I have no clue how long it took me, maybe a couple weeks or so, and it was a great project to do. Would I do it again? I want to, but now that I'm knitting, I really don't want to, because I want to spend all of my time, all of my yarn on knitting stuff, okay? And I don't, Knitting for Olive, I could make such a nice knit sweater and something that I will always wear. I will always wear this one because this is very wearable, very nice. This is one of the sweaters that I made. This one and the Mohair sweater I made so that I could wear it. But I also made it because I wanted something that seemed similar to a knit construction, like a construction of like a knit drop shoulder sweater. And that's why I made this, because I feel like it's similar to a drop shoulder construction of a knit sweater, and that's the effect that I wanted, because I didn't knit, but I still love the way knit sweaters look, so I tried to emulate it as close as possible, and I feel like I did. And now that I knit, there's no need to make another one, because all I have to do is just knit a drop shoulder sweater, which I have yet to do. I haven't knitted a drop shoulder yet. I've only been knitting for a few months, okay? I'm not that advanced yet. We'll get there this year, 2022. I keep saying this year, it's still 2021 for me. It's weird. But 2022, I plan to become so advanced. By the time it hits 1 year of me knitting, I would have done a lot of advanced techniques. Watch. August 2022, you guys will see. The next thing I made was actually the next video that I did, but the next thing I actually made was my first knit project. So we are now in August for sure, because I know that it was like August 15th? I think it was the 15th of August when I learned how to knit with my sisters. And after I learned all the mechanics, whenever I was making swatches, not gauge swatches, just practice swatches, I made this beanie. This was my first ever knit project. It is the Maple Beanie by CJ Design. It is so thick. I made this using acrylic yarn because I refused to use any of my nice wool yarns to practice. Okay, absolutely not. But I used that, some leftover acrylic yarn that I had, and I made this beanie, and it is very nice. It is so thick. My stitches are very nice and even and smooth, and I think this is a really good first project, honestly. But it's really good because I did not want to spend a lot of time being a newbie. I started knitting because I wanted to make sweaters. And my sisters decided to start knitting. I was like, okay, I will start knitting too, but I want to make sweaters like as soon as possible, okay? So I did this so that I could practice like my tension and holding my needles, because going from holding one tool to holding two tools to make something was the weirdest thing ever. The only thing I did with my right hand with crocheting was hold my yarn. Now all of a sudden I have to hold a needle and hold my yarn? That was weird. So I did this to practice, and I felt so confident knitting after I did this, because this is knit in the round. So the first thing I made was knit in the round, and it was just the knit stitches, and it was so perfect and easy. I would suggest any beginner knitter make this hat so that you can practice your tension. And I promise you, well, I guess I can't promise you anything, but it helped me, it helped my sister. The next thing that I made after that was this sweater vest. And, ooh, what was the person's name? It was a tutorial that was made in February 2021. So if you look up knit sweater vest tutorial step by step, you will find this one. I used Kahila's leftover cotton yarn. I bought needles from Amazon, some metal needles. Ugh, they were good as a beginner. They were good to learn with because they were inexpensive. It came with a bunch of needle sizes. I bought circular needles ASAP. I already knew everything I needed since I watched knitters for so long, like half a year or more. And I was like, okay, I know what I need to get. So I was like, let me just get some nicely priced ones before I get ones that I actually want, like the Knit Picks ones that I have and the Lick Needles that I have. And I used those to make this. Horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Not the project. The tutorial was so easy, so beginner friendly. Every single step is explained. It is clear. The needles and the yarn. Horrible combination that I chose, because I chose slippery metal needles with slippery cotton yarn. And that was the worst combo ever. Oh my gosh, my stitches kept sliding and sliding. And I like when I can move my stitches, okay? I don't want my stitches just boom, flying off the needles. No. I needed some control. So it was a struggle, and this was knit flat. It's crazy because usually beginners learn to knit flat first. I did a whole project, a whole beanie in the round. I loved it. With this one, I had to purl, okay? But, it helped me practice my purling. So I would suggest this sweater vest tutorial for any new knitter, and this one, because with this, the techniques you learn how to knit in a round. So you learn how to join in a round, and you can practice your tension and practice your knit stitches. Perfect, okay? I recommend this one as a second or first tutorial, because the techniques you learn here are, you learn how to do the ribbing. So you learn how to knit and purl to make the ribbing. Then you learn how to do your purling with just purls, because since this is knit flat, you have to do a whole row of purling before you do another row of knitting. So you can practice your purlings and get used to purling, get used to knitting flat, get used to purling flat. And honestly, it was the best practice ever. You learn how to do SSK decrease and the knit two together decreases, and you learn how to sew your pieces together. Of course, you learn how to pick up stitches. There are so many techniques in this thing that help so much for future projects. And because of this tutorial, I was able to confidently move on to reading patterns and making the sweaters without having to learn how to decrease, without having to learn how to pick up stitches, without having to learn how to join in around. And it was the best thing ever. The only thing I don't have to do is sew anything together, because it is knitting around. I swear, knitting flat was the worst experience ever. I don't want to do it again. I don't want to do it again, okay? Not an entire project. It's fine if the project is like a sweater vest and you have to like knit flat and then join it in a round and then knit in the round. That's fine, okay? That's fine. Not that, not panels. I don't want panels, okay? But those were my first two knit projects. I did them within a day of each other, so they're like first together, but obviously I did the hat first and then I did that one second. I did a whole video on it, so if you really want my thoughts you can go and check that video out. After I made those two things, I was like, okay, I'm ready for a sweater. And by this time, I had bought many petite knit patterns. I think I have like, I have a lot of her patterns. And I was like, okay, let me find some easy patterns. And I read through them. I didn't even know that she had a section on her site that said beginner, where you could find which projects are beginner. I just went through all of the patterns that I had and I was like, okay, this is fine. It doesn't have this. The one thing I knew for sure I didn't want were German short rows. Any patterns with German short rows, I was like, okay, I'm not doing that one. Okay, I'm not doing that one. Nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. I found the Louisiana Sweater by her. No German short rows, no anything. The only thing you had to do was raglan. I could do that. All I had to do was learn how to do an increase. Well, learn how to do two increases, the M1L and M1R. But that was fine. I'm like, okay, that's cool. All I have to do is learn those two. I learned those two. And how I remember to make one right and make one left, so M1R and M1L, I always think right back. So to make one right, or M1R, you go from the back to the front. I'll be like, I'll be right back. I'm like, oh, right back. So the right one, you go from the back. And obviously that means the left one, you go from front to back. So that's how I remember it. And that's the only thing I needed to do. And I was like, okay, that's perfect. I made that sweater. It was beautiful, perfect. I don't have it with me because my sister dried it in the dryer and it shrank to toddler size, so I threw it away. No, I was not mad at her. I knew what was gonna happen. She wanted to wash and dry her knits and crochet items and stuff to see what would happen. And I knew exactly what would happen. I knew it was gonna shrink. Like, I knew it would shrink, but she didn't know that. So I thought it would be funny if she just found that out on her own by actually doing it. I didn't care for the sweater anyway because I didn't use the yarn recommended. I didn't use the needle size recommended. So the sweater was a little smaller than I cared for. It wasn't small, but I like very oversized things and it was too close to skin for me. So I was just like, here, you can take it. I'm probably not gonna wear it much anyway. So. And I got messed up on the collar part. I like tore the bind off that I did. I ripped it on accident and stitches were dropping, and it was a great experience and a not so great experience. I think I will redo that sweater sometime so that I can actually have one that I wear. But yeah, I don't have that with me. I'll put a picture so that you guys can see. Well, I would have already put a picture so that you guys can see. That's a lot of talking. Man, that was my first sweater, and after I made that sweater, I was like, I can do anything. I can do anything but German short rows. This month, January, okay? I'm pretending it's January right now for me, okay? This month, I'm going to learn German short rows. And then I will no longer feel like a beginner. I don't feel like a beginner. I just feel like I'm new to knitting. That's it, not a beginner. I feel like a beginner is someone who really doesn't know how to do anything knitting and is in a learning process. And after you go through that learning process and you actually make a project, you're no longer a beginner. You just need to gather more information, you know? I guess that's what a beginner is. Whatever. I'm not a beginner. I don't think I'm a beginner. I have made 5 sweaters. That's a little more than beginner, you know? Anyway, the next project that I made was this random crochet sweater that I decided to make because I wanted to use this Aran Weight hand-dyed yarn that I had bought. Why did I buy it? It was hand-dyed yarn, okay? I didn't think about the fact that it was Aran Weight, and I don't care for Aran Weight. I prefer fingering and lace and DK. But I wasn't thinking about that. I was just like, oh my gosh, pretty hand-dyed yarn. Anyway, I made this. Oh my gosh. Oh. It smells so good. I think I blocked this one. Yes, I think this was the first project I blocked. For crochet, because I blocked my other ones. No, it was the first project I blocked, period, because I didn't block my knit stuff. Because one was cotton, one was acrylic. Oh gosh, there's yarn on my lip. One was cotton, one was acrylic. And then the other one, I messed up, so I didn't care to block it. So yeah, this was the first project I ever blocked, and it was this crochet project using hand-dyed yarn from Ken Yarn. I used his fall collection yarn. I bought 5, it was a kit for a shawl, but I bought one of the kits and it only had 5 skeins in it. And I didn't think about the fact that it was Aran weight, so usually if it was fingering weight, that would be more than enough for a sweater, you know, but it wasn't. It was Aran weight. So I needed to buy another kit, so I had 10 balls total. I used most of them. It is a folded down collar. I learned this technique because of knitting, and I just brought it over to crocheting. It is such a nice sweater. This is a sweater that I will be wearing, but I haven't worn them often because I don't really think about pulling out my knits and crochet stuff to wear whenever I'm recording a video, because most of the times I'm just too lazy to try to dress up for a video. Maybe 2022 will change and every single day you'll see me all made up and nice, put some lashes on and yeah. But that's the sweater I made. That was my first time using hand-dyed yarn and I was in heaven. I still have yet to make a sweater, to knit a sweater using hand-dyed yarn. I am so excited to do that. I am probably gonna do it, dang, I wanna do it this month. But it will probably have to be in March because February is my sock month. And one sweater that I'll be making for someone is a present. I'll probably be making 2 sweaters as a present for 2 different people. So with my socks that I'll be making. Because I plan to mainly make socks in February, and then I'll probably do 2 different sweaters for gifts for 2 different people. So I won't be making anything for myself besides socks. And where was I going with this? I don't remember. So sorry. When I watch this back, I'll probably be like, girl, you just have to go back and say this, but I don't remember. The next thing I made were crochet socks. Because I was interested in making socks, I had started socks before this and I wanted to know what it was like to crochet socks. So I crocheted these socks. They turned out really nice. They turned out like slippers because of the yarn I used. I used Noro yarn and it was very nice. I really didn't like the way it went from small to big, from small to big. With crocheting it, I think with knitting it, it would feel much better because I don't have to like pull through anything. But when you're trying to pull through a stitch with crocheting, it's so annoying, but it came out so nice. I really, really like these. And I was supposed to give these to my brother, but I needed it to show for a video and I just never gave it back. Maybe I'll give it back. He asked about it. He was like, are you gonna give me back those socks? He doesn't really care about it. He was just saying. This pile is growing too big right here, so I'll just put that here. The next thing I made was a knit sweater. My second knit sweater, which was my novice sweater chunky edition by Petite Knit. This sweater is air, literal air. I can hold this with one hand. I can hold it with a nail and it is so freaking light. I love this. I used Drop Swish and Drops Kid Silk Mohair paired together. Look at this. Oh my gosh. I did the size small and it fits me so nicely. The yarn is just heavenly. I want to make another one. I'm going to make another one. I'm going to make the Mohair edition, but using 1 strand of fingering weight yarn instead of 2 strands of Mohair, and we'll see how that turns out. But this is how this turned out, and this was my second sweater, my most successful sweater at that time, and I was just so happy because I was like, yes, a sweater came out the way I wanted it. I know I keep flipping my hair back and forth, but it's for the sweater. A knit sweater that came out exactly how I wanted it. I had no problems with it. The yarn was perfect. Everything was perfect. I just loved it, okay? It was great. After that sweater, I finished my knit socks. I used hand-dyed yarn that I got from Las Vegas. And I did have some ups and downs with this project, mainly because I tried it on midway. Oh gosh, that fuzzy sweater with strands of yarn on my lips. Anyway, mainly because I tried it on while I was knitting it. Don't do that. Don't do that. You will stretch it out, and when you block it, it will turn out bigger than you need. So if you're going to try on your socks, don't block your socks, because wearing your socks is essentially blocking it out. And if you block it after you try it on, it will probably stretch a little bit to be a little bigger than you anticipated. But these were the knit socks that I made. You'll see they are fading a little bit at the foot because I wore these bad boys out, okay? I wore these like every single day after I made them. And then I washed them, and then I wore them again. And then I washed them again, and then I wore them over and over, and they are fading at the tip, but it doesn't matter at the tip, at the heel, but it's fine. The yarn is just so pretty. It is pilling as well, but that doesn't bother me. Doop, 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 and it's gone. But yeah, these are my first knit socks, and now I'm obsessed with knitting socks. I'm on my 3rd pair of knit socks, and I will probably finish that in February when I do my sock month. The next thing I made was this Molly Weasley Christmas sweater. I revamped my pattern so that it could be measurement based instead of just stitch based, because I did make it in one size. This sweater, the Weasley sweater, Christmas sweater, was the first sweater I ever made and the first pattern I ever wrote. So I only wrote it in one size, and then I told people in the pattern how to make it bigger to accommodate like themselves. So anyone really could have made it, and I just wanted to give a pattern where there were no stitch counts or anything. I still included my measurements if people wanted to make the exact size that I made, but I was like, let me do this so that it is more inclusive. And this is what I made, and I changed up the collar and everything to be the way I like, because I had gotten more advanced than I did at the end of 2020. And I was like, I need to remake this, and I had been putting it off for a while, but I finally got to it before December, before Christmas time, so that people were able to get the new pattern and create their own Weasley sweaters, Christmas sweaters before Christmas. I didn't remake a tutorial, but I did do a video on it talking about it. The next thing I made was this boxy cardigan, and I made it boxy because I wanted that flared look under the arms, just because it's a very simple cardigan, and I was in one of those moods to make tutorials, and I think this is the only tutorial I did, honestly, because after that I was like, never mind, I thought I was into this. I'm not into that at all. And I just wanted to crochet a little bit, and I realized that I didn't care to make tutorials like at all. So you probably won't see another tutorial from me, honestly, but who knows? We shall see what 2022 will bring, okay? But for now, don't count on seeing another tutorial. The next thing I made was this cardigan here. It is this, something happened with my camera. I have no clue what, but I made this using, oh wait, hold on, let me adjust this. Yeah. Okay, I made this using Hobie's Tweed Delight, and it was yarn that Hobie sent to me, and it is so very nice. I used 3 different colors. I used the green for the edging, for the ribbing, and also to make just little stripes, if you can see in here, just little stripes in there, while the main body is dark gray and light gray. And I love this. This is something I will be wearing as well, and I can't believe I crocheted it. Like, this is very, very nice. After that project, the next project that I made, you'll probably recognize a lot of these because I have made them recently. This sweater right here, my novice sweater chunky edition. I made a second one because I loved the first one so much. And this gave me such different vibes because, first of all, I used a different yarn. I used 2 strands of Drops Air in this reddish color. And then I used the natural white color for this second color. And then I did some marling here and there, and I made sure the sleeves matched up as well. And this was so fun to do because that was my first time during like knitting something and trying to do something a little different with the colors. I was so excited for this. I love this so much. It is very soft. It is very airy, as the name suggests, with drops air. Very, very airy. And like I said, I love this pattern because it is so easy and it's so beginner friendly. I would recommend it to anyone who is learning how to knit and want to jump into a sweater immediately. The Novice Sweater Chunky Edition by Petite Knit is the best sweater to use. You use like 7mm needles, so you use bigger needles and you use chunkier yarn, and it's great. So great. It doesn't take long. It took me exactly... How long did this take me? I think it took me a little over a week, like a week and 3 days or something to finish this. So a very quick knit if it's the only thing you are knitting on. Oh, please don't fall. Oh gosh. Okay, hopefully that doesn't fall. After that sweater, the next sweater that I completed was this Sunday sweater by Petite Knit. I finished the sweater earlier on in the Vlogmas videos, and this was made using the leftover Drops Air, the white Drops Air yarn that I used for this novice sweater. I had 6 skeins left, and I had some mohair that I was going to use for a crochet project, but I didn't end up using it because now I'm knitting, so I saved it for a knit project that I won't be touching for a little bit. And I had like 12 balls of it or something, and I decided to just use a little bit of those skeins. I used 3 skeins of mohair for this sweater. I made the size small. I made the size small for that. I made a size small for this. Petite Knit's patterns are very oversized. So if you make a certain size, like I say it's a size small, and you're like, wow, that's big. Yeah, because it has a lot of positive ease. So it's not just like a small per se, like true to size. It is small with like 6 inches, 8 inches of positive ease sometimes. I used all of the 5 skeins, and then I used a little bit of the 6 skeins. So that gave me a whole sweater. And when I tell you, that is so crazy to me because crocheting a sweater takes a lot of yarn, and this only took like 900 grams of Drops Air. That is crazy. That is so crazy, but I love this sweater. It is so soft. Drops Air is one of the softest yarns ever. So if you want a very soft air and weight yarn, Drops Air is the one for you. Yeah, I knitted this Sunday sweater by Petite Knit. And the next thing that I knitted and finished was this beanie. It is called the Watch Cap by Pearl Soho. I blocked it and made it too big, but it's fine because it still fits nicely and looks really good. Oh wait, I like the way this looks. It looks really good, and I will still wear it for sure. If I need it to stay on my head, I will literally bobby pin it to my head so it doesn't fall off, okay? Yeah, it's the Watch Cap by Pearl Soho. It is a 2x2 rib, Purl 2 Knit 2. That was the pattern, Purl 2 Knit 2. It's a free pattern. Oh, it's falling, hold on. Yeah, it's Purl 2 Knit 2 instead of Knit 2 Purl 2. And I mean, it has the same effect, so I don't know why it's Purl 2 Knit 2 instead of Knit 2 Purl 2. And then it has like these fancy decreases going up at the top. And I am obsessed with making beanies now. Like, I'm obsessed with making socks and sweaters. I'm obsessed with making beanies. I have another beanie plan. I want to make the hipster hat. I want to make the hipster hat by Petite Knit because it is similar to this, but it has different decreased detailing at the top. So I'm hoping if I do that one, it won't make such a pointy top like this one did before I blocked it. And also it has less stitches, but the same needle size and the same like 2x2 rib effect, which I love the way 2x2 rib looks. So I'm hoping I can get this similar effect, but using that pattern. We will see. And the second to last thing that I completed for the month were these knit socks. Oh, let me tell you, the yarn that I used for this was, oh man, what's it called? What is the name of it? Crap, I forgot. It's like, it's not a full or, crap, I forgot the name of it, but it's a hand-dyed yarn by Red Door Fiber Studio, and it is so nice. She was just playing around with yarns and just, it wasn't a part of a collection or anything, it was just a one-of-a-kind that she just played around with, had fun with, and then just put it on her site. And Kahila got it, and she got like 3 skeins of it, so that is what we used it for. We both made hats. She made the maple beanie by CJ Designs, and I made the watch cap by Pro Soho. But yeah, this is a sock, a pair of socks that I made. It was originally going to be for me, but I messed up on the measurement part and it couldn't fit me because it was 1 inch too small. So I gave it to Malika, Mr. Bobbin, my younger sister, and it fit her perfectly. And the yarn I used is Pumpkin Spice by Winnie Jo Fiber Co. It's a hand-dyed yarn and it is literally the falliest fall color on the face of the planet. I was so happy that I finished it before winter because I still wanted it to be fall socks done in fall, you know? But these are vanilla socks, just normal vanilla socks that I have made. And I have one more project that I finished for the year that I made videos on and everything before I show you all of the miscellaneous things. It is currently blocking right now, but let me see if it's a little dry for me to show you guys holding it up. Okay, it's still a little damp. Let me move this. I feel like this is falling. It is still a little damp. I feel like this is gonna fall in my face, honestly. Ooh. Yeah, it's still a little damp, but I don't mind holding it up and it like stretching or anything because I need this to drape because this project was so stiff when I showed you guys the other day, but look at how drapey it is now. Ooh, oh my gosh. Like, are you kidding me? It is not fully dry, but that is totally fine. It has stretched out nicely. It has relaxed the stitches. This is, oh, I'm talking about the sweater and I didn't even tell you what it is. It is the Anchor sweater by Petite Knit. And this is the last project that I finished for the year, which is so awesome. And this is what it looks like. It has a ribbed yoke and then just plain stockinette all the way down. Let me put it back because it's still damp and I don't want to hold a wet sweater. But I really enjoyed making that sweater. I was so happy to get it off my needles because I was ready to cast on something new. I casted that on in like the end of October or literally the first day of November, one of those days, and I didn't finish it until a few days ago. So I was really, really excited to be done with it. And I really like the way it looks. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I used Drops Baby Merino, which is a commercial superwash yarn, and it does have that spongy feel like the Lion brand superwash merino, and I'm not a fan of that feeling, but knitting it and blocking it was such a great experience. So I definitely recommend that yarn, especially if you want something superwash but also fingering and something that you could pop in the washer and in the dryer safely. Let's see. Look at this. A pile of garments. This is crazy. But I still have another pile of garments to show you. I have no clue how long this video is because I keep like clicking. The camera keeps stopping. If it keeps stopping like that, that means this video is probably like an hour long or so. Oh gosh. Wait, where's my phone? Oh, okay, it's under the pile of clothes. Oh, it has been an hour. It has been maybe almost an hour. I don't know. But these are projects that I totally forgot about because I either didn't take a picture in them, I didn't make a video on them, or yeah, it was just forgotten. And I looked in my closet and I was like, whoa, I made this year because I remembered making them. The first thing is this cardigan. Wait, I made 4 cardigans? Okay, so I made those 2 cardigans. I made the cardigan with the Lion brand superwash merino wool. I made the cardigan with the Hobie tweed yarn. But before the Hobie tweed yarn, I made this cardigan using, guess what? 24/7 cotton by Lion brand, but the measurements and everything are so off. I used the even moss stitch, which is such a pretty stitch. This is crocheted, by the way. And an even moss stitch, and it's nice if you want something to hang off your shoulders, but it doesn't really fit on my shoulders, so I never made a pattern for it because of that. But I really like, look at this slip stitch rib. Oh my gosh, this detailing is so beautiful, so beautiful. The next thing that I forgot about was this cardigan that I made. Oh, it's so heavy. This cardigan that I crocheted using the wool from We Are Knitters. And dude, it is the heaviest thing on the face of the planet. I used 10 skeins and I didn't even have enough to do the ribbing detailing around the edge. So I'm going to repurpose this yarn. I'm going to unravel this whole thing because I'm not wearing this, first of all. And it is too heavy. I'm going to unravel it and I'm going to knit something using it, probably a sweater. I'll probably look at like Friday Knits or Well Love Knits, Bethany and Phoebe and Bethany. I will look at some of their chunky patterns because I have bought some of their chunky patterns and see if I can use this for some of their sweaters because I'm pretty sure I would not need 10 skeins, which is what this is. And since knitting takes such little yarn, I'll probably need like 7 skeins. 8 skeins? 7 skeins? 8 skeins? Who knows? Depends on the size. But I'm for sure going to reuse this yarn because it's so cute. It is the Yarnicorn yarn in the wool from We Are Knitters. So I want to use it for something. I just don't know what yet. But it will be used. The next thing that I totally forgot about was this poncho sweater that I made, this Pikachu poncho sweater. It has a hood and everything. This is made with acrylic yarn. Was it Red Heart? Red Heart Super Saver, yeah. I think it's Red Heart yarn. I made a whole hood doing this. Like, what? What in the world? This is so cool. And it has yellow detailing to match Pikachu. And it is so nice, so cool. It's so stiff. But look at Pikachu. Oh, so freaking cute. This is literally the cutest sweater that I have, honestly. The next thing that I made was this halter top. It has... it's huge on me. I made a front panel and a back panel and I slip stitched it together and it was way too big. But it will look like this. Okay, it doesn't look like that. This looks like an apron when I wear it like that. Totally forgot about that. Another thing I forgot I made was this bag. Like, what? Why did I make this? When did I make this? And honestly, how did I make this? How did I make this? What the heck? Where is the seam? Oh, I see. Oh, did I like make it flat like this and then fold it? Did I make this pattern up myself? I'm so confused. I don't know, but this is a bag. It could be used as a project bag. I didn't even realize. Oh yeah, this is going right there. That's a project bag for sure. Another thing I made was this top right here. I made this top. It is a halter top. I was learning how to do these cups, and then I made the checkered bottom because everyone was into checkered stuff during the summer, and I was like, let me try. And I also made this back. Everyone made backs like these as well with the tie and everything, and it was cute. It's not something I wear because I'm not into all of that, but it was cute. It's something that I would wear to take pictures in, and that's it, and not wear it like out in public. This was another top that I created. A lot of people asked for like a tutorial or a pattern. Honestly, I don't even remember how I made this. And I'm really not interested in making it again. So that means I would have to guess what I did, which I'm not doing. Or that would mean I have to recreate it, which I'm not doing either. It has like this flap. I made it to go with my tennis skirt, the green one. And I made like a tennis top. Like, this is so cute. And it has like a collar that goes down in the back. You can't really see it even when you wear it. And the sides are very deep. And the top decreases very sharply, which is what I wanted, because I wanted it to go like boom. And it's like, if you move, there's like boobage. And I liked that because it fits so snugly on the top, and it's such a nice summer top. Another top that I made, which is not my design. I was following Chenda's top. She made a top like this. Guess what yarn that I used for these things? Yeah, 24/7 cotton, bro. Get a grip, Kalila. 24/7 cotton is not the only yarn in the world. Me talking to my early crafting self. But I made this top. I was gonna turn it into a dress. That is why I made this top. I wanted to make a dress. I still have yet to make a dress, which is why I'm so excited for this camisole #2 dress. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I made this top, and the back looks like this with all that detailing. I didn't like how it fit, and honestly, I was like, I'm not that interested in making a dress to go through all of that, so that's why that didn't continue. And I also have this top, which is a Stripe Madness top by Malika. Guess what this is made out of? Yeah, 24/7 cotton. Oh gosh, 24/7 cotton by Lion Brand. And I made this. It is so nice. It's such a perfect top. I love it. Oh my gosh, you know what this reminds me of? The Friday tee by Petite Knit. If you know what I'm talking about, similar, maybe? But this is a pattern by my sister, Mr. Bobvin. And honestly, it is such an easy pattern. Beginner friendly. If you're new to crocheting, that is literally the best pattern ever if you want to make your own top, because you can make, she has a long sleeve version of it and everything, and it's just nice. Now, the last thing, yeah, I think that's the last thing that I'll be showing you is this sweater that I made on the fly. I made Gengar on this sweater. I made it because I keep up with Emma Langevin, and I love her content. I love her. Like, she is so freaking awesome. She's so cool, and she loves Gengar. And I was like, let me just make a sweater with Gengar on it, because she would think it's so cute. It was just, it's like inspired by her. I didn't make it for her, but it was inspired by her, and she did love it. I was just like, this is just so nice. It looks so cool. It's just like a little nice oversized. The sleeves aren't oversized, but the body is. Okay, the sleeves are oversized, but not crazily. And it's made using impeccable acrylic yarn. Oh my gosh, I have been talking for forever, but this was such a nice reflection to take. I have come so far with my crafting, and I I feel like I'm still at the beginning stages. I think when I do this again in 2023, my recap of everything I made, it'll be totally different because it'll mainly be knit pieces, and this is going to be a journey. This year I plan to do a lot more knitting. You will probably not see many crochet pieces from me. You'll see a lot from my sisters because they are going to be designing so much this year. You guys will see so many great things from them. Let me move this so it could be more on me. Yeah. You'll see so many great things from them. I'll probably be testing out a lot of their things, so you'll probably see me do that in that aspect, but I really want to up my knitting skill, and I want to get as good as possible as quickly as possible because there are so many plans that I have that need me to be a much better knitter for those plans to execute. So I hope you guys will join me on this journey of my knitting journey. I know a lot of you guys crochet, but hey, knitting is a craft that I think everyone should get into as well as crocheting. I feel like people should have both skills under their belt because there will be some things that you bring from crocheting to knitting and from knitting to crocheting. Even if it's not the same craft, it is very similar, and there are similar things that you can bring to both crafts. So I can't wait to see what this year has to offer. That was a lot of talking. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. My first video of 2022. I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing year. I hope your holidays were great. And even if it wasn't, I hope this video cheered you up. Okay, you got this. We all got this. This year will be our year. Forget what's happening in the world right now with, you know, it's still gonna be a great year, okay? Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new and you haven't done so already, join me on my knitting journey, and I will see you guys next time with another video, which will probably be a challenge of me staying up for 24 hours knitting a sweater. So, I'll see you then. Bye!